Welcome to Brazos Matters. I'm Macey Litterst. For my final time on Brazos Matters before I graduate, I wanted to bring in some of the other graduating KAMU seniors to chat about highs, lows, surprises, and memories during their years at Texas A&M. Our two KAMU senior student workers joining me today are Jade Torres and Grace Barr. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. I just want to start with a little background. Jade, where are you from?
So I'm from Deer Park, which if you don't know where that is, I always say we're about an hour out from Galveston on the southeast side of Houston. So we're kind of in between Pasadena and LaPorte, and that's also where I went to high school. So,
And Grace, where are you from?
I'm from Lindale, Texas. That's like up near Tyler and Dallas.
Cool.
It's like 3 hours away.
And how and when did y'all both get into A&M, Grace?
Well, my mom and my sister were both in A&M, and so I just applied here, and I was like, I don't know, it seems cool, family legacy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I got in my senior year of high school, and I was like, let's go.
Awesome.
yeah, I was similar. My mom was an Aggie. Actually, my mom took me out of the hospital in an Aggie onesie when she had me. And so
Sounds
I
about
feel
right.
right? And so I feel like that was just always fate.
Yeah.
But on top of that, my aunt was an Aggie, my uncle was an Aggie, and then my cousin was an Aggie. He graduated in 2022 with his bachelor's and then with his master's later on. And so I was like, oh, well, I'm going to go because my cousin's going, but also it was the only school I applied to. I've always wanted to go here.
Yeah, same with me. I'm a fifth generation, so
Wow.
all my cousins go here, my uncles, literally everyone, and my whole family lives here, so it was an easy in for sure. Not an easy in to apply, but an easy in on decisions to make for sure. Jade, what is your major, and did it change at all?
Oh my gosh,
we just talked about this
right.
before we...
So I'm a communications major. I'm a Bachelor of Sciences, and then I'll also be graduating with a certificate in social media studies. But I wasn't always that way. In high school, I was a big computer science girly. I loved STEM, and then I did a bunch of other extracurriculars. So I actually came into A&M as an engineering major, and I did it for about a year. And I got okay grades. I got C's and B's, and coming from being an all-A's student high school, you're like, well, this isn't normal kind of thing. And so I went home, and in high school as well, I also took audio and visual production classes and I did broadcast journalism for so long, but no one really told me that it could be a job. This could be something to do. I always kind of looked at it as a hobby.
Yeah.
So that summer after my freshman year, I talked it over with my mom, and I was like, well, either I redo my entire freshman year and redo all my classes to ETAM, or I just make the switch. And so I made the switch, and I jumped in general studies. The TAPS people were super nice and helpful, and then I went, and I am in comm, and I've been in comm ever since. And honestly, it's the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Are you happy with the decision that you made to switch?
Yes.
Yeah.
It just opened my eyes to something that's totally new, in an avenue that I didn't even think that I would be doing as a real job. Like I said, I always thought about editing videos and doing all the new stuff was a hobby to me, and I always found it super fun. But in high school, I was I don't really know if I'm gonna make money at this. I don't really know if it's worth doing. But then when I started to work here, I definitely felt I was yes, this is my avenue. This is the love.
Yeah. And Grace, what about you?
Yeah, I am actually currently a telecom major, Bachelor of Arts, and with a minor in film. But I started out as a journalism major accidentally. I applied to be in the Viz program and tried for a couple years to get into that, but they kept changing the requirements, and it's very math heavy, and I just really struggled with that. I almost failed a physics class, and that was the point where I was like, okay, I need to switch up here and figure something else out. Yeah. But I think it was really good. I actually met this guy named Alazar. He used to work here at KAMU, yeah, and he was also a telecom major, but he was doing things that I felt passionate about, and I was like, oh, I don't have to be in Viz to do video production things and art stuff. I can totally I don't know.
For sure, yeah. And when y'all both applied to A&M, was it straight acceptance, or did y'all have to go through different pathways? Personally, I did the Gateway program, which is going taking 2 classes the month before the actual start of A&M classes to like confirm your admission. Did y'all have any experience, or was it just straight into A&M for y'all?
So I was auto admit from high school.
Oh,
so
okay.
which that's not I came in to college with about 22 hours or so of dual credit and
awesome.
AP credit. So that's how I'm able to graduate a semester
Yeah.
early. So I was auto admit from high school with like my GPA and stuff. So
Grace, what about you?
Same here.
Same here. Okay. Everyone has different experiences for admissions, and so I was just wondering, what are both of y'all's roles here at KAMU, and what are some examples of some work that y'all have done? Grace.
I am a production assistant, and so like they just have me doing anything and everything that they like need done.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun because like every day I come in, I'm not sure like what they're gonna ask me to do. Like I could be like cleaning out a storage closet or like going out and shooting like B-roll for something. It's just a lot of different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm also a production assistant. I work with Grace all the time. And like she said, like you could come in and that was something I told a lot of freshmen when they first, like whenever I talked about my job to them, like in high school, I was like, sometimes you can come in and like you're editing like a really big project for one of the shows, or like you're setting up for a production, or like you're going to the storage unit at like 9 o'clock in the morning searching for a tape. I remember one time they made a search for a tape of like a commencement or like a football game from like 1987.
I heard about that one.
Yes, I remember that. Like we had to go on like a wild goose chase for
my
12-man production to
goodness.
find a tape through like all those boxes.
Was it that you had to go with who? 12-Man Productions?
Or well, like they were asking for the tape,
Yeah.
and so they were, because I guess for like a hype video or something,
Yeah,
and they
I
needed
used to
like,
work there, and we had like 4 months of straight just checking tapes. Like they would shift us for like sorting through tapes, and it was
Wow.
crazy.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
I understand the pain. It was really brutal. But anyways, what are y'all's involvements on or off campus? Are y'all any orgs or clubs or anything like that? Jade?
So I'm involved with Seven Variable is one of them, and we're like the nerd club on campus. Actually, when on Heart of Art, we interviewed Martha Wells, who also was in Cephed when she was here. But we're like one of the oldest clubs on campus. We do a bunch of, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons and cosplay and anime nerd.
Love.
So that's where my love comes from when I'm not doing production. But I do that, and I'm involved in that. I was involved with photography club for just a little bit, and then with cosplay club and all the fun clubs.
That's awesome.
But then off campus, like in addition to all of that, I run my own little like photography business on the side. So I have a little like it's like my freelance like type of work like I do, but a lot of it is photography. So I picked up photography kind of like when I started college, and then I've stuck with it kind of ever since, and it's been super awesome to do that.
When did you start your freelance?
Maybe like 3 or 4 year ago.
Oh wow, so you've been doing it for a while. Yeah.
For a while, and it was a big transition for me because I had filmed video. I've filmed video for like maybe 7-ish years at this point, so it's been for a while. But like photography, I've only done for 4. So in photography and videography are like so different. You wouldn't think they are, but they are. So
Sure. Yeah.
having to learn like all of the different stuff that you have to do for photography was super fun, and that's why I went into and did photography club for a little bit and helped me learn my camera, stuff like that.
That's really cool. What about you?
Yeah, I actually was not in that many orgs in my time here at College Station. I was in the radio org for a little while, for a few semesters, KAM. I keep getting that mixed up with KAMU because it's like so, I keep like trying to be like, wait, is it the right one? But I was in that one, and I was in like an artist org for a second, like my freshman year. But honestly, like I found the most community and friends like at places that I've worked more than like actual orgs on campus. I don't know.
I was in a sorority for 2 years and just wasn't a good fit. So I joined a Christian org last year. It's been the best change I've made because just too black and white, literally 2 different things. So just finding your people, finding your community, can be very hard, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's tough. You don't always have to stick with like the first thing you join because odds are it's probably not the best fit. It doesn't have to be, but yeah. What has been your most difficult adjustment since you've been here? Such as academics, being on your own, finding your people. Grace?
I was thinking about this a lot, actually. I think the most difficult thing has been technology transition, because like whenever I first started, like we were fresh out of the pandemic, and like education had done a total overhaul to like being totally online. And so like having to learn that, and then just a couple years ago AI became like a big thing. And so like not only am I going into a new class like learning a new subject, I'm also learning like what kind of technology is this professor going to use, like how much are they really into like using AI or like different software like Jasper, Packback or something, versus like having a professor that's like, oh man, I hate technology and I don't want to see laptops in here, and our entire class is going to be run out of Google Drive. And so it's like there's such a crazy like whiplash. Like I have no idea where things are going to go, and it's like kind of difficult sometimes to keep up with that.
For sure. I feel like the past couple years, especially like these past 2 years, I've had to really like dig in on the syllabus to make sure like if they're okay with the usage of AI for like helping with writing stuff, or they're like absolutely not, you will get like immediate zero.
There's like no like standard across the board, so it's like it's so
it
weird.
just depends on the person, but it's been really scary like the past couple of years trying to navigate that stuff, because I don't know much about that. So I'm like,
and you have like some professors that are like, I want you to use it, and some professors that are like, if I even see that, I will like fail you.
It's
so
crazy.
It's
it's scary though. We're almost done though. Thank
we're
goodness.
almost done.
What about you? What has been your most difficult adjustment?
I feel like for me, at the beginning of at the beginning of college, coming from like doing so much in high school, like I was student body president. I was in like 5 billion different clubs, and then like whenever that all kind of stops for me, like my freshman year, I was just like, oh my god, like what do I do with myself? So like that part, learning like how to like find time to like relax in the points that you're not busy was super hard, and I'm still like struggling with that too. And so I guess that would be really hard, like going from being super duper busy to being like just like, oh, I can sit at home and like read or like do something else. So that transition was hard, but like I feel like I've gotten better at doing that like as I've been older, and like that's why I always tell freshmen is like to join a club or join an organization in college, because those people are going to be the people that you're going to look to for whenever like you hit that first final or you hit that first midterm and it's like really hard and you just feel like the world is like all crashing down. Like at least you have people you can like go to and
relate
be like,
to.
you can be like, it's okay, like everything's gonna be fine. And it was, because I'm graduating, so
exactly.
It's like, okay.
For me it was definitely like finding my people. I feel like I was in a sorority for 2 years that wasn't a fit, and I kept asking myself like, what's wrong with me to where I feel like I don't fit in with those girls? Like it's okay to not fit in. And I feel like it was so hard for me to realize that, because I was trying so hard to like fit in with people and like mold myself into this certain crowd. And over the years, especially in college, like I've realized I don't have to fit in everywhere, and it's okay to not fit in with people and just keep exploring. Like if you don't fit in with someone, go find someone else. Like it's hard to find your people in college because everyone's so busy with their own lives, and like it's so hard to hang out with people and make plans like that, like genuine plans. But yeah, I found my people, and it took me a while, but yeah.
That's so real. I feel like for every like group of people that I didn't quite click with, like I don't know, I would find like one person that I really like understood and that understood me. And it's so important to like just move on when you like feel like you don't fit, because like I don't know, that's a necessary process. Like it takes a while to find your people, but you definitely can.
It's hard at first too. But if you're just tuning in, I'm Macey Litterst, and our guests today are Texas A&M seniors Jade Torres and Grace Barr, who are also student workers at KAMU, and we're talking about our time at A&M over the years. Okay, best moments versus hardest moments. Go. Jade.
Gosh. Best moments? Definitely, anytime I worked here. I feel like KMU has just been full of like some of the best moments I've had in college, just being able to have all the opportunity that I've had here and do all of like the live productions and having all of those opportunities like those are definitely some of like my best memories from college, is like just being on the production team and like having all those stories and stuff. It's been really nice. Worst moment? anytime that I was in engineering doing finals, oh my gosh. Or even like, oh gosh, I remember, and I wasn't even in engineering at this point. I was in a stats class here, which was awful.
Sounds
and
awful.
I walked out of the final. I took the final. We reviewed for like several nights, like on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to take the final, and it looked nothing like the review. And so then I walked out, and I remember walking out of the ILCB. It was like passing the clock tower to go back to my dorm. And I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, I think I failed that test.
Oh my
And I
God.
like started crying. And I remember, and she was like, well, she's like, you have Q drops. And I'm like, yeah, but that means I gotta take it over the summer.
Yeah.
I was still so bad. Those were like the like worst moments of my life, when you like walk out of the test and you're
know
just like,
you failed it too, and you're just like, it's so humbling. Is that the first test you ever failed in college?
in college? No, I
No.
failed multiple.
Hey, me too, girl.
Like-
I've Q dropped. I've done all that, and look at us graduating in December.
Yeah, I was like,
Exactly.
engineering 102 was like, it was so funny. I knew how to code going into high school or going into college. So I was like, okay, like this is going to be fine. Like I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then like I took the second test, and then like I saw I got a 40 on it, and I almost felt like broke.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's humbling for sure, but that's how you grow, I guess. What about you, Grace?
Wait, did you have a best moment, or was that just your
Yes,
worst moment?
no,
yeah.
my best
Oh, you
moment.
said here.
Yeah,
Oh,
working
here.
KAMU.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
Just making sure.
I think sorry.
You're
I'm
good.
thinking. Some of my best moments have been like just realizing that like change is really a part of like growing up, and like being like not only being in college but also like growing up. Like
Yeah.
change is not like necessarily a scary thing. So like anytime that I was like feeling really down about like feeling lonely or feeling directionless or something, like I just wake up the next day and I'm like, I just keep going, you know? I don't know if that's like, I know that's so
No,
like abstract,
I
but
relate though. I get
yeah.
it. No,
it's like, I don't know, like to be able to look back and like look at my hardest moments in college and be like, all of that like meant something, and it wasn't the end of the world whenever
Yeah.
I like couldn't find somebody to like sit with, or like, you know.
yeah, I feel
I
like
know.
people don't talk about it enough, but college can feel so lonely sometimes.
Yes.
It's like, it hurts. Like it really
hurts,
does.
and you're like, what am I doing wrong? Why do I see people like going out with friends all the time and going on trips, like, and I'm sitting at home by myself, like, what am I, like, what is wrong with me? It feels
Yes.
so lonely. But then there's like moments that make up for it. I feel like it's normal. Like you have so much time, and it's hard to realize that when you're in it, but like,
And it's hard because like people tell you that, and like you want to just roll your eyes and be like,
Yeah.
whatever. But like
Yeah.
it's so true, and
No,
you don't
it's
know
so
it till you
true.
know it. Like
And then, like,
it's just something you have to go through.
I even feel like too, like you in those moments of loneliness, you kind of have to sometimes accept the fact like it's okay to be alone.
Yeah.
Like it's okay, like it is okay to go to the restaurant by yourself. Like it is okay to go, it is okay to like go get boba by yourself. Like
It's
it
honestly
is
kind of fun.
okay.
It
Yes.
really
Yeah.
is. It's like
It's so
like treating
relaxing.
yourself. Yeah, I definitely learned that over the years, because at first I was like, ooh, this is really awkward and uncomfortable. But yeah, it's okay to be alone. Was that your worst moment or best moment?
Honestly,
That
kind of
was worse.
both.
Yeah,
I
both?
guess.
Okay, yeah.
I
I think-
don't
yeah.
know.
Okay, question we talked about before we got on. Does it stress you out when people ask about your college plans after you graduate?
Honestly, I kind of like it because like I can just riff, and like most of the time I'm not gonna see that person again, so I can just say whatever I want to.
True.
And like honestly, I come up with my best ideas when I'm riffing.
Wait,
and I'm
that's
like,
so smart.
wait, I
need
should
to do that.
Yes. Like one time I was like, oh, I'm just gonna be a TV writer, and then I was like, wait,
That's kind
I don't
yeah.
know.
Like, I'm gonna be a pilot. Actually, I start
Yeah.
like in January.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna fly your plane.
That's so funny. What about you?
I get all the questions, and I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, I don't know, like I'm 21, like and my
Yeah.
life is not real, like and
Yeah.
it's like, you know, after you've been doing school, I feel like for so long, you're like, man, like what do I do? Like you're like,
Yeah.
there's no more essays, there's no more tests, there's no like, because school is like such a big part of
It's
your life.
huge, time consuming.
Yeah, and so
And
then
you're
just
like, what do I do now that I don't have all this free time? What do I
Right.
do?
Mhm.
Yeah. How has being at A&M changed you as a person, Jade?
oh, that's a big question.
I know. We're going deep.
But I feel like being away just from home and like being away, like, and being able to being away from home, being in college, I feel like has helped me like matured. It's helped me grow up a lot. I did have the option to stay home. I did have the option to like go to community college and stay in my hometown and whatnot and be there with my parents. But like I felt like, and they felt like too, like it was time for me to like go and branch out. And then I feel like being at A&M has like truly helped me like figure out like who I am as a person, like coming from being like a teenager like into an adult, like
for sure
finding identity and like finding like what I like, truly like what I like and what I enjoy, because like I'm doing stuff for me, not for other people. So I feel like that has been like a super like cool thing at A&M. And A&M's just really has been really awesome. Just like I think it's just so special to have like a place with all of the traditions that we do and all of the like special things. I've always said like Aggie muster is something that I appreciate, because it's just like a nice memory of like the fact that, oh, I went here, like even after I'm gone, like people are gonna know.
People are gonna remember you.
Yeah.
It's such a sense of community. It's great. What about you, Grace?
That was really heavy hitting.
Yeah.
To go after that, okay. I think like, wait, can you remind me of the question one more time?
Yeah,
Sorry, I had it in my mind. And
Of course. How has being at A&M changed you as a person?
Oh yeah, I think like being here has really shown me that like I know I keep saying this, but like change is a part of being a human being.
Yeah.
And like you feel that so much in college because you're like changing where you live, and like honestly like you jump from place to place a lot, and you jump from friend group to friend group, but like I don't know, you like still have like College Station as your backdrop, and like I don't know, I think it's really, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought.
It's okay, girl.
I'm losing my mind, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I don't know, just like change is a part of being a person.
Yeah.
And like it's okay to change, I guess, and like just yeah. I don't know.
No, that was a great answer.
Good.
That was great. If you could give advice to a freshman, what would you tell them, Grace?
Man, I would say like just take it easy, like stop being so hard on yourself. And like I know it's so scary, but just like take a moment, sit down, and like just chill out. Because like one thing my advisor told me my freshman year that like really changed my perspective on everything, she was like, no matter what happens, you are gonna walk that stage, and like you're gonna get that diploma. And like I felt so like everything is ending, it's the end of the world if I have to Q drop a class, and it's like nope, you just keep going, you know, you either change your major or you try it again, and you just like get up and go. And I think like just, you know, go for it, you got it. You'll be fine. It might hurt sometimes, but you got it.
Jade, what about you?
Well, my one thing was like, again, like joining an org. Obviously I said that at the beginning. That's how you find your people. That's how you find your friends. You're not going to find your friends in your dorm room, so go out and explore the world. But also like going off of what Grace said, like you're gonna get that degree. Like it's there, it's in your mind. Like if you keep like telling yourself I'm gonna get it, like that's the motivation that you need to have, and that's the mindset you need to go in. And I also think that college is about exploration. You go through high school, like even as like a kid, as someone who came from a kid who would sit with like their top 10 like in their class, like literally like numbered 10, you can feel like the pressure like so much about like how you have to get good grades and whatever, and like that's important. Getting good grades is important, doing well in your studies is important, but also you are also important. College is not about getting straight A's and being perfect 100% of the time like it is in high school. College is about exploring like what you want to do in your future. And so if you come in as engineering like me and you figure out like this is not something you want to do with your future, you totally have the right to change it. Like you have time. You have time.
So much time, and it goes by so fast though, which is
so crazy.
The scary part. My advice would be you will find your voice. I feel like as a freshman you're so timid and so scared to like speak up about things you want, take opportunities that you're given, but like being able to take those opportunities and run with them and maybe make mistakes, that's totally fine. Like you will find your voice. I feel like if I did this show when I was a freshman, I would be shaking in my boots. But I feel like I've really found my voice, and I feel like that comes with growth and age. Honestly, it does. But that would be my advice. What is a piece of advice you've heard that has stuck with you, Jade?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, my mom and my dad are like my biggest cheerleaders, which they'll probably listen to this episode.
It's a blessing. Yeah.
And they are my biggest cheerleaders, and I think like knowing that they always have my back, and they've always said like they've always had my back and everything. And I feel like my dad has always said, and my mom has always said, like, college is not a straight line. Like, it's a very bumpy line. Like, if there's very few people that go through college and it's like perfect and it's super straight, and they enter into a major and they get 4.0s and then they graduate and whatever, like, but for most people it's this like very curvy line with ups and downs, and like you have to navigate that like as a person, but college teaches you how to navigate that. So I feel like knowing that like college is a bumpy road, I guess, is like something you have to keep in mind like as you're going through it. Would be my piece of advice.
That's great advice. I love that. Grace, what about you?
I know I already said it, but it's just like really stuck with me, is like what my advisor told me, like, you know, even though you're scared right now, you're going to get the degree. And like, I think that's a really important thing to keep in your mind, because it's so easy to be stuck in like whatever semester and whatever class and like whatever assignment you're so stressed about. But it's like in the big picture, like you're going to be okay. You're going to turn it in or not. And like, you're going to wake up the next day and like keep moving forward, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine would be to not really care about what others think about you and their judgment. I feel like people are scared to do things because they're afraid of like other people's judgment, and it holds you back a lot. And so being able to do things because you want to do them, because it will grow you as a person, is so important to me. And I feel like that's great advice for any freshman that is scared to go do something, to go do some weird activity. I mean, because the traditions here are a little weird sometimes. And when you're first getting into it, you're like, what is this? Like, this is weird, like midnight yell, like, but like being able, I know, it's a rough topic, but being able to go to those things and not be embarrassed of doing something that you want to do is probably the most important thing you can do as you grow here. But yeah. Well, Jade and Grace, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. Brazos Matters is a production of Aggieland's Public Radio, 90.9 KAMU FM, a member of Texas A&M University's Division of Community Engagement. Our show was engineered and edited by Matt Dittman. All Brazos Matters episodes are available on YouTube and on podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple, iHeart, and Amazon. Also, on the NPR app and the KAMU website. We'd love for you to rate and review and subscribe so you never miss an episode. It was a pleasure being on this show and sharing it with Jay Sokol. I'm Macey Litterst. Thank you for watching and listening.